We're here at the Teacher Educator Conference 2014 in Hyderabad, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Alison Barrett and Emma Sue Prince. Both of you welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your no doubt busy schedules to come and speak to us.
Thank you.
Okay. Just thinking about the conference and the theme of the conference, innovation in English language teacher education, and really what I wanted to ask you was what your interpretation of that theme is.
I think for me it's about continually learning and developing and always using new approaches, whether that's technology related or whether that's just new and innovative ways of doing something.
Okay. And Alison, I mean, in terms of an Indian context, can you talk about how the relevance of that theme?
Excuse me.
It's not loud enough. Yeah.
Loud.
Okay.
Or maybe if we move the table a bit closer, is that possible?
Little loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll just ask the question again. Yeah.
Forgot one second. No, it's okay.
Continually learning.
Yeah.
Okay. So Emma, so if I could ask you what your interpretation of the theme of the conference is.
I think for me it's about continually learning and not being afraid to try out new approaches, whether that's related to technology or not, but having this sort of open attitude to trying out new things.
Okay. And Alison, if I can ask you the same question, but perhaps in relation to an Indian context.
Sure, yeah. I think that the whole reason why we initiated this series of conferences at the beginning was that across the country there's a tendency for the teacher educator, the role of the teacher educator, to be quite neglected. And we felt that by joining forces with the English and Foreign Languages University, who are the kind of leading institution in India for providing English language teacher education, that we would be able to plug that gap and help raise the profile of the role, provide quality professional development opportunities for teacher educators, bring them together, help them to network and share ideas and experiences. And I think that the conference also helps to support the government's policy agenda, which is about improving the quality of teacher education more generally across all subjects. I think it has a number of different, it's important for a number of different reasons, both for practitioners and for policy level as well.
Okay, thank you. In your talk, you spoke about how you have adapted the British Council's CPD framework to an Indian context. And what I'd really like to ask you is how you did that, the process that you went through, and how you made it work effectively in India, and also perhaps say a little bit about why you needed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it was quite a long process, and it started off with really, first of all, understanding the kinds of projects that were being run in India, English language training projects, and reviewing those and looking at how those related to the needs of the teacher in India and what the competencies were and how they needed to develop and where some of the gaps were. And then that led into looking at although there was some CPD embedded into the projects, it wasn't necessarily overt or explicit, and it was also obvious that the global framework that existed didn't really fit to the context of the Indian teacher for lots of different reasons. A lot of things around language levels and around the way teachers are qualified here, and the fact that you have a lot of teachers with no qualifications necessarily, and everyone's at sort of different points. And the framework, the global framework, is very linear and done by level, and that clearly wasn't going to work here. So there was a lot of stakeholder consultation, lots of workshops, lots of talking to lots of different groups and trying to understand the context. And I think that's really, really important, so that we could really work out how it could be adapted and how it could fit.
Yeah, so just to add to that, I mean, we added competencies like using multilingual approaches, and I was saying in my talk yesterday that in India the context is a truly multilingual one. I mean, I don't think I know any Indian person who doesn't speak, who speaks fewer than kind of 2 languages. Everyone speaks 2, 3, 4, 5 languages. So it's a very unique context, and we wanted to try and reflect that on the framework. We also wanted to reflect the need for a focus on inclusive practices, so thinking about providing access to quality education for girls as well as boys, thinking about different communities, language communities, and so we added that onto the framework to make that explicit for the teachers as well.
Okay. And the feedback that you received from the framework that you developed, how has that been received?
Very positive. I mean, I think it needs to be recognised that the framework will be used as an online tool, and therefore there'll be lots of different things and ways that people will use it and access. So one of the exercises we did yesterday was we showed the framework, and then you have the competencies, and we asked people to start looking at, start trying to sort of map where they might be. And actually what you need to do is first of all define what those competencies are, and if you were using it online you'd have little sort of routes into working those out, little case studies and I don't know, little cameos and things. And of course with a sort of paper hard copy you wouldn't sort of use it in that way. So I think one of the things that came out.
I'm not sure. I think we will have to use it offline actually in some contexts, but the resources may be online. But I think that what we're hoping the framework will do is to trigger an awareness both within the teacher, the educator, but more importantly the school leaders of the importance of providing time. I think Rama Matthew said yesterday in her talk, legitimising the space for professional development for teachers and giving them a tool to help trigger their awareness and help them think, okay, that's a competence that I need to be thinking about, and I'm here on the framework, so where can I go to find more support? And so we're hoping to embed it within projects and to sort of help use the framework to help us identify the needs of teachers and to kind of provide different development pathways for them. Whereas a lot of the training that takes place in India at the moment tends to be one size fits all for a whole range of reasons that are too kind of lengthy to go into here. But I think we want to try and raise awareness of the importance of providing different development pathways for teachers through training or through other kind of CPD activities. And the online resources will just be one way, and that'll be
What advice would you give to people who are looking to implement a similar process in their country or their region or their context?
Well, I think having a really strong understanding of the context and how it would be used, and really what teachers need, and that, I think that's crucial.
Yeah, I mean MSU spent I think 3 months reviewing needs analysis documents, evaluation reports, policy documents, teacher competencies that had been developed by a range of stakeholders in India. So I don't quite know how you managed it actually, because there was like a massive amount of information, and then distilling that down into the needs, and that's a really important first step.
Actually, one of the things I think I only sort of realised in hindsight, because I did all of that review without actually coming to India, and actually that was probably quite a good thing, because it enabled me to be very, very objective, and sort of look, okay, what is going on. So I think having that very external view is good. I think people working here are so close to the projects that it's quite hard to stand back and look at what the needs are. So I think if this was going to be done somewhere else, you'd need to have that
external
that distance from it, because they're so these projects are so intensive. People are sort of involved with them heart and soul, everything. So I think that's very, very valuable, but also really everybody having an understanding of the context. And quite a bit of the work I did was actually working with the British Council teams, wasn't it?
I think through the workshops that MSU did for the teams, he did 3 workshops, I think, over a course of about 18 months. I think the understanding within our own team, because we involved not only our academic team, but we also involved our colleagues who are involved in managing and implementing the project, so that their understanding of what CPD is and what it means within a project to a teacher and educator really developed, didn't it, through the process.
Definitely.
So that was really helpful.
And a sort of shared understanding, because now everybody here has it, they understand
exactly what we're trying to do.
Sounds fascinating. Sounds very interesting. Looking forward perhaps to next year in 2015, Are there any themes that you would like to see explored
Mhm.
at the Teacher Educator Conference 2015?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many
Difficult
things
question, I know.
that we could do. I think that one area that we possibly need to make more explicit is the actual professional development that you or we or organisations or individuals provide for teacher trainers or teacher educators. So who trains them, and what kind of needs do they have, and what kind of materials and resources and CPD do they receive? You know, this is one way they can get training and support, but what other ways can they do that, and possibly try and really focus down on that particular role and teacher education research and make it very, very focused, and looking at maybe standards of teachers' competencies of teacher trainers. Maybe we need a CPD framework for teacher trainers next.
Well, interestingly, I think this work around the work that was done around the framework made everyone think about their own professional development, because that's come up with everybody, even myself. You know, it's made everybody think, well, what am I doing? My professional development, where do I want to go next? And that's been interesting. You know, everyone's had the same time.
Great. Okay, Emma, Sue, and Alison, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Speak to us.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.